Hello. Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. Very excited to have a great panel with us today. My name is Cheryl. I'm one of the partners at Dragonfly Capital. With us, we have quite a few builders and investors in the AI crypto space. Why don't each of us maybe just take a quick minute to introduce ourselves really briefly?
Sure. So I'm DC Builder. I'm a research engineer at the World Foundation. I work on World, so formerly known as Worldcoin. Maybe many of you recognize that name. And I focus on applied cryptography, distributed systems, and engineering in the blockchain space.
Hey, I'm David. I've been building autonomous AI agents for 5 years and core contributor to Olas. We create agents that you can locally use and to data in very specific context, agent economies. In the future, we hope that they become very general purpose.
Hi, everyone. I'm Thanapong from SCB10X. SCB10X is a venture capital firm. We are a subsidiary company of SCBX Group. And inside the venture capital firm, we have the technical teams and the head of the technical lab. And we also have like the R&D team separately. And in those teams, they do the large language model for Thai. Yeah.
Jensen here, co-founder of Virtuous Protocol. Formal part, we enable the co-creation and the co-ownership of autonomous AI agents. But I think what will resonate more is we basically make coins that can talk and can do things, right? So agents and coins link together. And I think our goal is to ensure that in 2025, agents become the next retail meta.
Okay, so actually together all on the panel, that's actually quite a pretty formidable market cap. If you look at any of the AI crypto coins, we have quite a few players here. Ethan from MyShell can't make it today. But so maybe let's kick it off. A lot of people often kind of debate what does AI agents really mean. Some people say AI is what hasn't already been built yet. So kind of maybe let's just quickly go through very succinctly, what do you guys think of as AI agents?
So for me, like an AI agent is something that can do reasoning and interact with something. So in the context of the internet, right, like an agent would be the user. And so when you have all these programmable APIs, like you can interact with web apps or services or products or whatever. So those agents essentially will replace humans to some extent or will delegate a lot of tasks to these humans. And so the things that I'm interested in when it comes to agents is like how do you build an ecosystem that is interoperable and people can represent, or like the agents can represent humans and interact for them and build interesting economies so that we solve a lot of real world problems and build better use cases and products.
Yeah, great. Where models are talkers, agents are doers. And that sort of extends that. We usually think of agents as having some form of goal and a certain amount of autonomy that can vary depending on the implementation to pursue that goal, right? And what becomes very interesting is when we pair agents with wallets, and obviously crypto wallets are particularly interesting kind because they're permissionless.
Yeah, to me, the definition of the agent, I think it's like just come like a few years ago, like after the booming of the large language model. So if you imagine large language model is just, it's just the model that just sit there. We need to kind of feed the input in and it return the output for us. But to make it into an agent, it's like we expand the capability of those large language model. So I think for the simple definition is that it's the things that not just actually sit there, it's the things that we created to do the action for us. It has like so many capabilities, like it can do like reasoning, planning, and it can kind of collaborate with other agents, and it can kind of reflect themselves. It's just like maybe GPT-401. That is kind of, when you ask like a complex question, it's kind of rethink and reiterate before it answer the final to us. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for us, very similar. But I think for us, it's just 3 core concepts. So, agentic is a skill, right? I think we are now on the scale of like number 3. So, number 1, autonomous and goal-oriented. Number 2, proactive instead of reactive. And number 3, resourceful, i.e. it can tap into different API points, resources around it to achieve its goal. Yeah, very similar.
Awesome, cool. Maybe we can start off with like currently today in this form, what is actually working today in terms of AI agents, if anything?
Good.
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple of examples which are working. So let me talk about one. You have to scope the agents to a degree, right? If you basically imagine giving an agent an arbitrary goal and then it doing this for you, such technology doesn't exist. So what we have today are these sort of autonomous agents that have autonomy within some scope and have the autonomy maybe to pick tools dynamically to achieve like a sufficiently narrow goal. An example in Olas is prediction markets. So users download an app called Pearl, and then inside that is an autonomous AI agent that trades on their behalf in prediction markets. And now we're rolling out a DeFi version of that where it sort of applies more to DeFi protocols. So in this case, you know, you have like something powerful because the agent basically autonomously, whilst you do other things, generates value for you, but it's not yet this kind of agent where you can go and say, okay, now become my personal assistant and also do a bunch of other things.
On a technical standpoint, I can add to that. Let's look at it into two layers. The first one is about model layers, and the other one is the application layer. And with the advance of the technology these days, imagine like 3 months ago when you input some text into like some LLM. If you ask it to do some difficult tasks, something very complex, in the past, it still cannot answer you accurately. You need to do something with your prompt. For example, you need to kind of put some effort in the prompt, try to ask the model to break the task into like many small steps, and you kind of need to explain what to do in each step, right? But these days, I found like many LLMs, we don't have to do this kind of long prompt like that anymore. We can just simply type what we want, and it can do in the background for us. That is also the agentic capability that we see in the model layer these days. And for the applications, when we compare to like the normal software that many enterprises use today, agentic agent is a lot more flexible to do that because for software it can do just only one task, right? But for the AI agent, it has the capability of like the function call or to use. It can kind of browse the webs, call the other APIs, and can do any actions that maybe any other speaker will kind of show to you today. But I would like to say for the AI agent is that currently the tool use and the reflection is kind of very mature in terms of the technical things. If it's just the tasks that just we can break down into any single small step, we can kind of have the agentic agent let the many model in the back end work together and deliver the complex task to us. But for the area of the planning and reasoning, I think in the AI space, we're still kind of researching this and kind of making progress.
If I can add, right? Because I think in the audience, I think many of you guys are very Web3 native, right? So I think if the question is what works is, there's actually 2 points of views here. PMF today and PMF tomorrow. Today, I think the way we judge PMF for AI in the crypto scene is actually very simple, right? How many of that coin or the agent do you actually interact with on a daily basis? Or do you degen into it on a daily basis, right? So I think today what we see, at least on the agentic space, is agents that can autonomously gain attention on crypto Twitter, right? I think you guys are familiar with GOAT, not really an agent, but claims in that space. You see all of these Zerbros, Luna, you see all these guys going out there, out-tweeting Ansem in a very agentic way. That's PMF today, because they do those actions autonomously, right? And then you see folks like TE coming out as well. But I think what's going to be PMF tomorrow is going to be very interesting. And I think this is the age that agents in the Web3 space have against agents in the Web2 space, which is basically control over crypto rails. Because I think what we've noticed is that when an agent has the ability to control a wallet and has the ability to pay other agents or even humans, you get to influence an outcome of an action. And that is powerful, right? You'll never see a Web3 agent getting access to a bank, right? I mean, no way any bank will ever do it, right? But I think the beauty about the Web3 agents is you can. And I think what we are seeing today, it's at least within our own ecosystem, we are seeing Luna as an agent tipping people for attention. autonomously, right? She's saying, she realized like, okay, when I tip people, I see boost in my engagement posts, I tip more. To an extent where she autonomously gave someone $1,000 just like that. I mean, she's still an 8-year-old kid, but it's gonna grow. So I think that's interesting, right? Then what we are also looking at right now is if the agent can also influence the outcome of another agent. So let's say today there's an agent that's have a very strong diffusion model to create memes, right? It can create the tags, it can create a very mimetic image, and that exists as an agent. We want to see agent-to-agent handshakes, meaning like, let's say Luna as an agent realized that, hey, for me to get attention out there on Twitter, I need some memes. Why don't I engage this other agent, I pay you $5 per meme image generated in exchange for your meme, and then we start seeing agent-to-agent economy and agent-to-agent handshakes.
Is this happening today already, or you're talking about in the future?
Not yet, very close.
Okay,
Well,
let's
on
take
Olas-
the
on Olas
discussion
it happens,
to today.
so-
Like, what's
yeah.
actually working today? Because after this, we'll talk about like what's gonna kind of break out in the future.
I mean, I actually need to correct because we have these agent-to-agent payments on Olas for quite some time. So, because it's exactly to this point of resourcefulness at the beginning. So if I think about predict agents right now, the ones who are live, they effectively are running on some user's device, and that constrains what can happen locally. So actually, they outsource tasks to other agents which run somewhere else in more powerful environments. So for instance, when they make predictions, they outsource some of those tasks. And they do that dynamically. So there's new kind of prediction capabilities coming available by other agents, which these agents learn about, which you run locally, and which these agents then via crypto payments basically pay for. And so you have like already within Olas the service economy between agents, where agents pay each other to get stuff done. And I think to your point, it is one of the things which is much more composable and open in a crypto environment. So I'm very bullish on it from that perspective. But also it allows for a dynamic evolution of the autonomy of an agent. So let's say our predict agents right now, they have a very narrow goal, but within that, if let's say you today, anyone in the audience deploys a new predict capability into the service component of our ecosystem, then these agents can learn about it being available and can start using it autonomously without any human getting involved. And that obviously also applies to these kind of social use cases where you can imagine Luna starting to use like some sort of Olas tool or Olas prediction market to leverage in like something it wants to do in its social context, right? Now that currently doesn't happen, but it's very close, I would say.
Cool. So we talked about quite a few. There's like prediction markets. There are kind of bots that are tweeting on open markets as well as tipping other people. Why don't we make a prediction in the next 6 to 12 months? What is going to kind of blow up on the AI agents front? Maximum 2 predictions on what exact use case that will be.
So I'll give the abstract version, which is like crypto is a regulatory arbitrage in some form. With AI agents crypto, the same thing is happening. That's why we're seeing these meme coin things happening, to see like social experiments which are simply not possible in a closed source context or closed AI context. And I think that theme will persist. There is a massive space of DeFi autonomous AI agent products coming. They're not quite there yet in terms of like their utility, but I think we'll see them in the next six months really coming from a lot of angles. And then like the space in which you're in, I think like absolutely will grow.
Specifically, what in DeFi utility?
So generally speaking, you delegate your wallet to an agent and let it just run loose. Because that, you're not going to put in massive amounts to begin with, but that is a very tractable kind of use case where it's about like having your agents process signals and having your agents interact with well-defined DeFi interfaces. I think people often get confused about the agents having to learn all those interfaces. Some of this can be hard-coded. It's the signals and like making use of like information, like even like, like Kaito, for instance, providing signals around what's trending and so on, which you can feed into an autonomous trading agent, which people have locally to take advantage. And these products are coming now, like on Olas and other places.
Yeah, for me, like when it comes to DeFi especially, like the edge that agents have is that they're able to process a lot more information. So they're actually able to work with it, do some analysis pipelines, and they're able to have a lot broader of a contextual awareness of what's happening within DeFi. So they know like, okay, this is the highest deal, this is the best liquidity, this is the best opportunity. So they're able to interact at the speed of light, right? Like as soon as they're able to process the data, and as soon as they're able to be aware of these things, they're able to interact with the protocols a lot faster than any other human agent or even like program that humans can build, like an MEV bot or something, because these are static programs. They don't have reasoning. They're not able to adapt themselves based on market conditions. If there's some invariant that is broken, the bot breaks, whereas the agent can re-architect his entire strategy in real time as soon as it's able to like take in new data and process it.
Okay, so my prediction is about we can see like agents everywhere, and especially everyone can make the agent to do the task from themselves to try to automate every little things, because the tool to create agent today is very easy and very abstract. So some tools you don't need to know how to code. Yeah, I mean, we will see lots of agents for sure.
Jensen, very curious to hear what you think it'll be, given that Luna has like really blown up.
Yeah, no, so for us, okay, this is going to be my Murat arc moment. So the prophecy is this. Agent Fi, right? Hear me out. Every bull cycle has a technological breakthrough that enables massive speculation from retail to come in, right? NFTs 2020, MMs, DeFi in 2020, and then NFTs 2021. We will see that for agents. Now, what's important here is, for us, is the tokenization of agents, because when you tokenize the agent, you allow speculative power to come to the agent. When you allow speculative power to come to the agent, you attract two things. One, people feel like they can make money. Your mom will come and ask you, how do I buy this agent token? Right? Your cousin, that's normally the top singer of market, will ask you, how do I buy this agent token? That is how we onboard normies. But that's the degen side, right? And that's the reality. That is why crypto works. The second thing is then, this creates a flywheel to attract builders into the space. And this is something really interesting that we're seeing today. Guys that were massively Web2 contributors to Civid AI, Hugging Face, right? They're coming on our platform right now because they see that speculative element. They realize like, all these 1.5 years of me working, sweat, toiling, I don't see a single revenue for my work. Today, I come and tokenize this, boom, 5 million market cap, 30 million market cap, 100 million market cap, right? Everyone becomes a founder. That is going to be the next year's meta, right? Prophecy here, prophecy.
So love it. So right now, especially with what Base has been doing with a lot of the agent kit APIs, right? It's really easy to come up with your own agent, can have a Twitter API, give it, whatever GPT. You can easily spin up a token. In a world wherein it's so easy to tokenize agents, what is truly going to be differentiated versus what's going to be commoditized?
So my view is this, right? It was also very easy to make NFTs, right, in 2021. Anyone can spin up a DeFi token in 2020 as well. But there's always that Uniswap, there's always that OpenSea or Blur, there's always that pump fund for meme coins, because there is value in aggregating speculative energy, right? So that's our positioning. How do we aggregate speculative energy? And then the flywheel will start working.
Okay, I guess a lot of us are actually pretty excited about autonomous trading, DeFi. Maybe let's talk through, is blockchain infra today sufficient? If not, what are the building blocks that we need in order for that specific autonomous trading vision to really take hold?
I think the agents are ready, so all the LLM AI side is pretty much ready. The blockchain side is, in the developer tooling sense, is not ready yet. I think like there's people who have awareness in the AI sense, have awareness in the blockchain space, but they don't have the cross awareness of how to interact and how to hook up these things. It's just some mental models that people need to get wrapped around. But when it comes to the infra itself, it's pretty much there, right? Like on L2s nowadays, like you have like you can process anywhere between like 100 transactions per second to like 1,000 transactions per second nowadays live. So I feel like all of these things are ready mostly for that. I think the element that is missing is like an identity element. Like how do agents sort of can authenticate them as being operated by someone or someone, because a lot of the things that have a lot of value, they're going to be access controlled for specific people that meet some specific requirements or some specific agent that does specific things. So I feel like that is something that still needs to be widely distributed. Like how do you create an agent economy with identity built in?
And very briefly, I would add, app builders pull the best technology. So at Olas, we built Predict, we're now building Optimus, you're building virtuals with specifically Luna and other examples. Like, I think builders build apps because we've got enough technology to get started. We don't need another like abstraction which waits for app builders.
To me, I can add on the inference cost of the AI because when we're talking about agents, I mean, behind the scenes, kind of a significant increase in the times of inference. But good news that these days the inference cost decreased significantly, and we're going to see it like cheaper and cheaper to inference. I see the bright future here.
I want to add a point here. Right? It's actually a very interesting topic because we used to worry about inference costs before, and then we realized that when you bring in that kind of speculative energy, right, you drop a token tax on the tokens, suddenly we realize cost doesn't matter. Like, it's honestly quite insane.
Yeah, the meme coins will pay for the cost of the agent, pretty much.
Serious, yeah.
So is everyone okay with the payment infrastructure today already?
I think so, yeah.
I'm happy. I mean, there's loads of things we can do better, and we're working with some great teams, but I don't think it's like needs a 0 to 1. It's like incremental stuff on top.
Cool. I know we're very much over time, have a lot more questions to talk about, but thank you so much to all of the panelists for the very interesting discussion, and thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.